Uniquely me is uniquely you. Balancing the different hats of life, achieving all your goals.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. Guys, here we talk about the traumas and the struggles of our women, but we definitely talk about their triumphs. Of course, if you have read my book, Uniquely Me, we talk about the many hats we as women have or continue to wear. And the question is always asked, how do you balance? Well, for once, I am happy I have joining me today a very good friend who wears many hats, guys, and she will tell us how she wears the many hats because I keep telling persons I don't have a clue how I do it. So let's hope this phenomenal woman will be able to answer the question, how does she manage and balance the many hats she wears? I'm talking about Gabrielle Lattery. Well, let me tell you guys, she's a wife. She's a mother. She's a marketer. She's a businesswoman. She writes skits. She does drama. This woman, you name it, she got it all made. But without further ado, let me welcome Gabrielle here. Welcome, my friend.
Hi, Simone. Thank you for such an awesome introduction. I'm now a little intimidated by myself.
No need to be, no need to be. And guys, I'm sorry if you're hearing the dogs in the background. Please, I'm really hoping that they will zip it a little while we go through this interview, but it's their time of the evening. However, Gabrielle, I've been trying to get you on this platform for a little while. And I will tell you that I literally feel haunted because like every time I thought, I'll just chill a little bit, I kept hearing, I need to interview Gabrielle. I need to interview Gabrielle. And you're probably wondering why she needs to get me on the program.
Why indeed?
Well, Gabby, I want you to share with us a little about who you are. I will tell him that you're little, but you're taller. So let me get that out of the way. You tell us a little bit about who are you.
Well, she's referencing the fact that I'm all of 5 feet tall. So for a lot of people, sometimes they hear the big voice and then when they see me, they're like, where's the rest of you? Yeah. But I like to tell people, when God is done, he's done. And so I didn't need to grow anymore. He was done. About me, I like to tell people that 80% of what's happening happens in my head first. And only about 20% of what you see is really about 20% of what's happening up here. Yeah. I think I love life. I love people. I think I'm very perceptive. I think people get a little confused sometimes because I love people, but I also like to be by myself. Mm-hmm. So my love for people is to see them to grow and prosper and, be better and be well. But I am still at the same time very much an introvert, which surprised a lot of people because, people are accustomed to seeing me emceeing here or marketing ideas here and poetry there. And it's kind of like, so how is she an introvert? I really am.
I didn't know that about you at all.
I am. I actually thrive when I get silence and me time and quiet time. I enjoy working out. I like to think that I am training to be on Wonder Woman's team. So I'm one of those girls that lift, Feel very proud to be lifting and squatting heavy. So that's something that has always been something that I've liked and continue to like. And it's also something that I try to keep up with because it really does help with my keeping my joints healthy, and we can get into that at another time. What else? I have a son. He's all of 5 going on 50, maybe 55, depending on, the day of the week.
On the day.
Yeah, I'm married. 9 years this April.
Are you serious?
Oh
my God. Time flies.
Time does fly, right? Whether or not you're having fun, time flies. Wow. So I don't know if that answers the question. I think I am many things in one.
It's called Uniquely Me, girl. That's what it's called.
Uniquely me,
But
that's
there's
right.
something I didn't hear you say, and I'll tell you this, Gabby. When I met you, so let me see if I don't know if you remember how we met, but I remember you sitting beside me in church because when we're growing up as young people, and you find a little outside of the church. I'm talking her husband's business now. And he brought this pretty little girl, and she just happened to be sitting beside me and my son, who was a little baby at the time. Funny enough, Gabby, I was just doing a check earlier on, and I realized, you've been around for about 13, 14 years. Yeah,
It's been
And
about
so,
that long.
and I don't know what it was, but we seem to have just hit it off. I don't know if it was my son, that caused it, or what was.
I'm known to just like people's children. But you're nice.
We seem to have hit it off, but then what seemed to have, for me, I think what made us gravitate to each other more is the Jesus girl that you are. And I think it's so fair to say that, and I really want to just go straight there. You took what I would call a leap of faith. And I think the more I'm thinking about it, Gabby, I think you have taken so many leaps that you're now a professional leaper.
Oh gosh, sometimes I wonder, I've really had that thought as I, reflected coming into 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I could write a book. My life has been interesting, not just because it's mine. And I'm thinking you're thinking about the fact that I left university and decided to go be a full-time missionary.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I want us to go there, because you see, the thing about it, Gabby, is that you and I hope you're okay with being real with our audience, because that's one of the things we're known for here on the channel, is we keep it real, we keep it authentic, because uniquely means uniquely somebody else. We are being the voice for so many others who don't have a voice. But you made this huge decision, and I remember how hard it was, right? The many times we sat in the car when we spoke and all the different things. You took a decision to leave university after all that investment by your parents to go be a full-time missionary. And might we say that I don't think your parents was finding it funny any at all.
No, nobody found it funny. Nobody did. I finished my degree with honors, and the July after I finished my exams, I felt that the Lord was calling me to be a missionary. And by the August, I had signed on to be a missionary. And I think for both my parents, it was kind of like what? And I think for them it was a little confusing, because I was always the obedient one, out of all my siblings. Gabrielle just kind of followed the script, and she's the Christian one, and she the only place she wants to go is church. We don't even know if she go get married, because she only wants her Jesus, kind of a thing. And but funny enough, I think I saw different sides of my family and my parents in that time, because my dad, who wasn't a believer, is the one that actually conceded first. Wow. Kind of just said, I don't fully understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, but I've been watching you walk with this Jesus of yours. Yeah. And so if you want to do it, you have my support. Yeah. It was harder for my mother, because I did grow physically in the same house with my mother, and my dad was there as well, but I lived with my mother. And so, I was supposed to go to university and be a lawyer. Then that didn't work out. I tell people all the time, my degree story is not one to follow. I went to university to do law. I got a preliminary acceptance. When I went to utilize my acceptance, they told me I was too young to pursue that degree, and I would need to defer for a year. And then I was like, I don't want to graduate after my friends. It really wasn't anything deep how I ended up in marketing. It was literally, I don't like maths. I don't want to do econ. I really came here to read and talk. So, marketing, that looks fun. I could do that. Pick it. And that was it. That's how I ended up studying marketing. Very frivolous reasons. Don't want to
Mhm.
graduate behind my friends, and I don't want to do math. So that's how I ended up doing marketing. So for my mother, it was harder because she
Mhm.
already had seen the dream of her lawyer daughter not happening. And
Mhm.
then now she kind of figure out the marketing space and know what? You're not going to that, you're going to be a missionary. So that was hard. That decision taught me that if God calls me,
Mhm.
he will take care of me, and he will make even those who are not in agreement with you bless you.
And
Um
mhm.
so yeah, so that experience is not one I'd ever give back. Like if I was to live my life, people always ask you that if you would change anything. That's not one of the things I would consider changing, because I think my relationship with the Lord is what it is
Yeah.
now
Mhm.
because of that season of my life. That,
Yeah.
church or not, pandemic or not, my
Mhm.
Jesus and I are always good. Like we're always good. Whether you see me or you don't see me, whether I'm crying or not, my Jesus and
Mhm.
I,
Got a
we're
good thing going on.
always good. We're always there.
If you were to highlight one thing though out of that experience, Gabby, what would that one thing be? Or should another young person now come and say to you, I really feel having, let's say they had done this whole law thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they're saying, I really feel like the Lord is calling me to go be a missionary. Seriously, what would you say to them, bearing in mind that their parents is, and we're living in a time when there's such strong belief that the church is brainwashing all of us, and all the drama and stuff. There is no going to be a missionary, there's no salary coming from this. Parents spend all this bag of money. What would you say to that young person based on that one thing that maybe your experience?
I mean, what I would say is be sure. Be sure that he has called you.
Yeah.
Because I think when the times get hard, and that for me, that's my position on everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships, friendships, business. If this is what God has purposed for me to do now in this season, then I can grit my teeth and close my eyes and bear the pain, because he only has plans to prosper me and not to harm me, and to give me a future with an expected end, which means that the discomfort is going to be minor in comparison to whatever it is that he has planned for me. And so that's what I would say to that person. Be sure. Be sure that you're not doing this for your friends, your church, your mentor, some book that inspire you. Just be sure that you're doing it because 100% that God himself has called you. Jesus himself has called you, because when the rubber hits the road and the questions come and the bank account is empty, the only thing that will keep you is the knowledge that he has to pay the bill. And he has to pay the bill because he called you. And that was it. I'm
Yeah.
like, whenever I found myself in situations that felt impossible, I'm like, I did not call myself. I
Mm-hmm.
did not, this was not some dream I had conjuring over time.
Yeah.
So you need to come through and deal with this, and that he would do. So that would be my advice, be sure. Be
Yeah.
sure.
It's a hard one, because the roads that or God calls us to is not usually the ones that's popular. But I must tell you how proud I am of you. You went, you did it.
Thank you.
And I watched God bless you in more ways than one in that season. What I must share though is what surprised me is when you left, when you
Yeah.
and is it, when you left and you went into
Corporate.
formal work, is it that you felt like, it was now time to transition, or I don't know, what was it for you? How
It,
did you
it's
make
the
that
same
transition?
for me, for everything. Like it
Mhm.
was just time. I'm always asking God, what he wants me to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you that I'm the dramatic, oh Lord, no. Jesus and I, our conversation oftentimes, it's not very dramatic at all. I'm not one of those people. I don't have many dramatic things happen. I do have some, but typically it's just us talking. And I came to a point where I felt clear in my spirit, in my heart, in my mind, that it was time for me to move on from the mission, and that he had a different purpose for me. It was a different season for me that was coming up, and it was time for me to leave. It was difficult to leave.
Yeah.
Not one, because it's all you knew. I left straight from university. This was basically my first and only form of employment. That word is being used loosely. And it was all I knew. But one of the things I've seen is that whenever it's time for God to do something and he tells me it's time, he has a way of just ordering things and opening doors. To this day, I do not know how I found out about my first job. I got an email. I don't know where the email, I don't know the person. And I responded to the email, and I was called the next day, like 9:00 at night, for the interview the next morning, and I got the job.
Wow.
And like it was so surreal, because like God says move now, and I kind of hand in my resignation, and everybody's like, what's next? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just doing this. And I did the interview, and I was working there for a year. First in a contracted position as an ambassador with that company, and then an opportunity for a brand management position came up. And the young lady I was reporting to, she's still there, and I always reference her, because she allowed God to use her. She just saw me and she's like, hey, they need a brand manager. You don't have no experience, but you can do this. Like, girl, you can do this job. And I sent him my resume, nothing. Did it again, nothing. And that young lady, bless her heart, her name is Janelle Francis, asked me to email her the stuff, and she walked my resume and application letter up to HR. And I got the call for the interview. I did the interview, and I remember, I'll never forget, in the interview, they said to me, you have no experience. Like 3 things you don't have. Like, you don't have no experience, something. Why should we give the job? And I said, you probably shouldn't, but I'm a quick learner. And you don't have to reteach me your culture. You don't have to unteach me any culture. I'm fresh. You basically can, make the kind of brand manager you want out of me. So why not? And then they hired me. Would not recommend anybody say that. but they hired me.
Yeah.
And I was there for 5 years, and did well.
Thank God.
I believe anybody can call them and ask them, and they will tell you that I did well. While there. And funny enough, that was like a big dream for me, check,
Yeah. Yes.
but again, the Lord said, okay, time to go again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this time you took that leap into entrepreneurship
full time.
Yes.
So that's the crazy one. So I'm a part of what they're calling it, the great resignation in COVID. That's what they call it. Right. So for me, there were a lot of things happening. Our business, Ryga Legacy, was started in 2018. And the thing about it is that throughout the life of our marriage and relationships, we've always had some business or another going on.
Awesome.
So Ryga Legacy was now, this was like our baby in terms of what we were pursuing. Really and truly, when it comes on to the big picture of the family vision, that I have to credit to my husband. Ryan Lattery. He is the one that's the visionary, you know. I honestly was quite content. 'Cause coming from missionary to corporate, I'm good.
Yup.
Like this is a walk in the park in comparison to where I'm coming from. So that was not a big pull for me. And I think that was always a little confusing for the people that I worked around. Not that I had an issue with money. It's just that I don't think it has been as big a pull for me as probably people would expect. And I mean, some of that is changing because now I have caught the vision for family freedom and financial freedom, you know, but I can't say that I started that way. I did not start that way. My husband married a missionary. So when he married me, I was a missionary. Okay.
Yes.
So
but I must
that
ask, the fact that he is the visionary, but you took the leap to run with the business. Why?
Why? Okay. So there are many reasons for that. Family is important to me. And I believe that the vision that my husband has is there because it serves a purpose and God must have put it there. That's one. Two, I understood enough that it was the best thing for us as a family. I also recognized and agreed with him that I have the skill set. Now, does that mean that I started running 100 miles an hour as I came in? No, because I still had to figure out the transition, you know, moving from corporate to running your own business and then, you know, kind of keeping yourself accountable is not the same thing. It's not the same pace, you know, and so I would admit that I stumbled a lot just trying to, you know, walk into the confidence that I can do that. And, you know, people see me all the time and hear me talk and think Gabrielle is so confident. Gabrielle is not confident, people. Gabrielle just know how to put on eyeliner and smile. And then after that, Jesus hold me up and the words come out.
Wow. Well, I don't think you could ask for a better combination.
Don't it?
But I mean, Gabby, on a very serious note, because, you know, there's so many persons who dream of entrepreneurship. Many of us who are in corporate, we sit and we dream, you know, we want to work from home, want to run our own business, you know, but I have found, especially during COVID, you know, having worked from home, the work computer is beside the TV and the kitchen is right there and the stairs is up there and the children are all around. And, you know, the challenge to really balance all of that. But the fact that I knew I was accountable to my organization, I have to deliver, you know, I had something to keep me focused. But for you, and I know many persons, some people look and it looks easy. Seriously, it look easy. It look like, oh, and then we think that entrepreneurship, they're making a bag of money. Hey, they got it going on and stuff.
That's what people think.
No, true. The pitfalls. What are 3 pitfalls you would say to persons, you know, not that, and we're not discouraging, because listen, entrepreneurship is one of the best things since sliced bread, if you ask me. But what are 3 pitfalls you would say to persons, watch out for, if you're going to do this?
The first one would be in terms of your finances, whatever you think and however long you think it can last, divide it by 3. It's not going to last as long as you think, and it's not going to be as much as you think, because life happens. And that's one of the things I think that if I could talk to, you know, because there are other entrepreneurs that we work with and we help as part of our business model that we assist. And that's one of the main things I try to help them to appreciate. And this is something that even I am still working on getting better at in terms of tracking that money. Because the thing that can happen is that everything gets rolled into one. You know, the house, the business and you
Mhm.
don't know which money is yours, and then the next thing you know, you can't find it.
Yeah.
That's a major pitfall, because that creates contention, it creates strife, and it matters not whether or not you're married or if it's a business partner or if you're single, because
Mhm.
it's a mental frustration, it's no stress, you know.
Yeah.
So that would be the first thing I would say in terms of a pitfall.
Mhm.
Be prepared to budget, to plan your finances, to ask yourself the hard questions, or to have the hard discussions with your partner.
Mhm.
And just prepared for all the excitement that that will create. That's one.
Mhm.
Two, I would say learning to say no would be another thing. You're excited, you have a lot going on, and then everything looks like an opportunity. Becoming laser focused, you know, defining what it is that your business does, or even if you don't, the what for me is not as important as the why.
Yeah.
Because I find, and I read this awesome book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek, that really helped me in terms of just streamlining that, because I think when we can establish why it is that we are doing something, similar to how, you know, knowing that I was called to the mission.
Yes.
When you know why you are doing this particular business, then it helps now to inform the decision, the next steps, the discussions, the interviews you have or you don't have, the products you sell or don't sell, you know, the events you attend or don't attend, and the time that you give or you
Yes.
don't.
Right.
So I would say that's one of the pitfalls in terms of, you know, not being able to identify why you started your business and not having a good reason for starting the business. And so when the challenges come, which they will come, because that's life. If you're alive and you have no challenges, you probably should check your pulse. Something is wrong.
Yeah.
You need to know. So I think that's another thing that throw people off. That they expect that I have this great idea and this great model and I have capital, this is gonna work. And then it doesn't, and they're like, what? And then the next thing I would say is consistency. I think, you know, the word talks about, you know, the Lord honoring your diligence. And I think that is one of the most underestimated elements in entrepreneurship. I think people focus so much on the business plan, the capital, the idea, the location, the branding, the marketing.
Yeah.
But they forget that if you show up enough, then you will eventually build over time. This whole idea of going big overnight, I think, has robbed many people of what it is that they can really accomplish. So for a lot of people, they're like, oh, you just started your business. No. We've been at this from 2018. And if you really want to get serious, we've been at this from like 2013, you know, with the different businesses that we've started.
Yeah.
And I think anytime, and I think, and I believe Ryan would agree with me, that whenever I'm consistent or we are consistent, there is greater growth and momentum created.
Wow.
And momentum is oftentimes what people see, because it's on the ride of the momentum that big things, quote unquote, happen. But you can't get momentum with sporadic effort. It doesn't happen. You know, it's like exercise, you know, or dieting. You know, you work out, it's what you do most of the time that's going to work, not what you do some of the time that's
I mean,
gonna
that's
work.
deep. That's deep. And I'm you don't understand. This is, I feel like I'm in a motivational class, coaching session, a master class, you know, a one-on-one.
Nice.
And I'm serious. I literally I'm taking notes.
Oh gosh, thank you.
This is deep. So if you've not yet started your master classes, you probably need to be doing so, girl.
Or
So
we probably need to talk about what that is.
well, let's jump into the business itself, Gabby. So you're into entrepreneurship. It's Ryga Legacy. And I know one other thing, because you were written up in one of our major media, by one of our major media hosts recently or today.
Right.
And
Or-
one of the thing I did notice in there is that you spoke about, you know, the fact that you grew up around women who were entrepreneurs, you know, one way or the other. Talk to us about, you know, the impact of that and Ryga Legacy.
Okay, so I had two sides of the coin to see. So my mom to this day runs her own business, successfully so. And her sister is also an entrepreneur. So I saw the entrepreneurship side, and my dad was always education and corporate. So I saw both sides. For me, entrepreneurship was scary and hard, and corporate was hard but safe. Right?
Yes.
So it's kind of like, and then because I was the one that was always kind of following the path, I had the understanding or the appreciation that education was important and it was necessary. And both my parents valued that. And so if they didn't agree on anything else, I was going to school, I was going to get a degree, and I was going to become great. Like, Gabrielle, this is what you're going to do. You know, so I had that. But I witnessed my mother build her business. I witnessed my mother going back to school. Her business is a real estate company. And so we do everything from renovations, rentals, and all of that to, you know, property management. And so I saw her, you know, and before she was doing real estate, she would sell clothes from the back of her car. And we would come from school, and it was a plaza in Kingston called Debian Plaza. And we would park there in a little Isuzu, and we would hang the shirts on the back. And my sister, the younger one, who everybody who knows Gaya knows that she's big personality. So she's the one showing them the wares, you know, and I would write up receipts and collect money. Like this was normal for me, you know. When my mom is showing her property, you know, she used to always say, house can't sell a day, it's sell in the evening when people come home from work. So after school, we're with her showing properties, with her, if she is renovating or decorating a place, we would see that. And on the flip side, when I would spend time with my dad, I would see his hard work, his long hours, in terms of what he did in corporate, and he's still in corporate to this day. So I always knew that both sides of the coin was hard. That was not it, but I saw corporate as safer. Because I also saw, you know, I knew that when things happened for mom on one side, it happened. And when it didn't happen, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that experience taught me was dreaming. I think I learned from my parents, both of them, hard work in terms of a work ethic. I really believe that both of them can outwork anybody. Me, like, I still cannot match their work habit, you know. But I think my mom was the first person I came across when it comes on to dreaming. And I don't consider myself a big dreamer, really. But I remember when we moved into the house that she currently lives in, and it wasn't furnished because we couldn't afford to furnish the whole of it. And she had us cut pictures out of magazines and paste them on the wall in different places. And we cut out a BMW and paste it on the carport, and we cut out a TV and put in the living room and a couch and the kind of bed we wanted. And so every year we would talk and plan the next year. And she would include us in terms of like, okay, if we make this sale, we can do X. If we make that sale, we can do Y. And so that is where my appreciation for that comes from. I'm still not great at it. So this is
but that's awesome, Gabby. That's
Huh?
awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, we all, especially at this time of the year, everybody's doing their vision board and stuff. But she was not doing a vision board, she was doing a vision house.
a vision house, and she's still like that to this day. And
Yeah.
then from my dad's side, it was always the steady,
Mm-hmm.
the concept that you don't study for an exam. You're always learning. You don't read just the required text. You read the recommended text. So you always go next level if you wanna do well. And so I had that in terms of parents, in terms of what they instilled inside of me. So even like with school and so on, I tell people that my upbringing when it comes down to school is a little strange, because at the same time nobody was forcing you to go. Like but you kind of understood that you had to go.
It's not an option.
Really. I mean, I tell people that my father had like two rules: don't lie, and one time through the system. He's paying for no repeats. He's paying for no receipts. He's paying for no examination failures, and you're not doing any grade twice. So as long as you move to the next level, he'll pay for it. But if you're doing the same grade twice, he's only paying once. You're going to have to find the money for the rest. And so you kind of figure that you had to make that work.
I like it. Those are such beautiful upbringing and lessons learned. And so you would have packaged all of that and put that into Ryga Legacy. What is Ryga Legacy? What do you offer?
What do we offer? What don't we offer? A joke. So Ryga Legacy is really and truly a business, a company that is looking to meet the needs of our clients. And those needs we recognize vary everything from your health and wellness to your personal development and just being able to serve your loved ones. So we do offer products that are plant-based, also supplements. We offer workout products, things to help manage stress, things for your children. We're living in a time where we have gotten so used to convenient but at the same time, we are really looking for healthy as well. And I know for me, when I was diagnosed with RA, rheumatoid arthritis, one of the things I wanted to find was products that were natural or had the right amount of concentration that was in the studies, because I had chosen to not take traditional medicine. And so that, and I mean, even that, I have to also credit to my husband, because he's the one that, does the reading, and say, okay, you need 3 of these. I'm really not the greatest at that either. I'm sorry. But the truth is it has worked, right? So we offer a lot of plant-based products. Everything is not plant-based, but we do offer a lot of plant-based products, and we offer a lot of things for persons who have sensitive skin, persons who have eczema, persons who they want the benefit of your standard over-the-counter anti-aging or acne treatment, but they have sensitive skin, and they know they're gonna break out if they try, the standard mascara on the market. And so we have products for persons like that, in particular. And then people who are just, trying to transition into a healthier lifestyle, and they kind of just want to get it easily. They don't want to have to go and find it somewhere. They just want it to reach, just appear at my door.
Okay, so you do delivery?
Yes, we deliver, and we're able to service within the Bahamas, Canada, the US, and Jamaica.
Awesome. And you talk about a small business. Girl, you've expanded. Listen.
It's still
That's
small.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I do know too that you do branding and that kind of thing too.
Yes, so we do keepsakes, and that's part of us just trying to meet people where they are. When we just started, as I told you, we started in October, and Christmas came soon after that, and we're like, well, I'm in marketing. I'm like, listen, everybody buys at Christmas. So I started putting baskets together. And the next thing I knew, I was now making baskets all the time. So,
Good.
so we do gift packages, gift boxes, and we also do keepsakes. So oh gosh, I wish I had one right here. But everything from corporate entities, if you want to have your creed on the side of a cup and the logo, or if you are, for example, International Women's Day, we had a design that I'll share a picture with you later on, of a woman, her outlay, and just words of affirmation. I am bold, I'm strong, I'm beautiful. And that was the whole design of the cup. Just a girl with an afro and all of those affirmations within her face cut out. So I do the designs myself, and I do the applications myself. We also do keepsakes in terms of if you have a bridal party, bridal show, and you want to do a his and hers or a Mr. and Mrs. or anything, churches. Personally, like, we are capable and equipped to do keepsakes of many magnitudes, and I'm still surprising myself. So if I don't offer it yet, still ask me. I might.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm listening to you and I'm hearing, wow, the many hats, the many hats, and you seem to be balancing very well. We don't want to make light of it, that amidst all of what's happening, there are the health issues and have been there. You know, how have you, I mean, you mentioned the rheumatoid arthritis. I know at some point in time too, the possibility, would you be able to have children, that kind of thing. How did you ride out those storms? I mean, yes, I know that you found medication that has been helping, but how do you, consistently seek to balance all the health issues that have, well, and I think I need to take it way back, because I think you have had to struggle with health issues coming all the way, Gabby, but you're still doing so well. How have you been able to balance that aspect of things?
Jesus. Just Jesus. Good Jesus.
Literally.
That's it. So from the way back, would be endometriosis, which was a long process for me because it took long to be diagnosed, because of the age at which, by the time they figured it out, I had my organs internally had already been compromised, and it was a very painful season of life. And so when I got married, it was always understood that I would potentially not be able to have children. It was kind of one of those things on the table. But the Lord has blessed us with a son. He's 5 going on 50, and so when we named him Jonathan, it's because, and the spelling is so important to us because it means God's perfect gift. And that is what he is to me, like, that reminder that miracles happen.
Yes.
And so, but the different seasons, and God has healed me many times, different ailments, different seasons. And I really can't credit that to anything but his direction and his wisdom. Even with the taking of the supplements and stuff, leading us to where we are now, all of that would have been by just his direction, because I don't believe that there are coincidences, and I don't believe that he says, oops. Anybody who knows me knows that that's something I always say, that God never says oops. He's not sitting on his throne and saying, oh my gosh, did you know Gabrielle was going to do that?
Exactly.
It does not happen. It doesn't happen. Yeah, it does not happen.
Yeah.
So for me, there's always been some struggle. I remember when I told my rheumatologist that I was pregnant, like, she was not happy with me because it is a known fact that for persons who have rheumatoid arthritis, post-pregnancy, they tend to jump sickness levels.
Wow.
But fortunately for me, that has not happened,
Yes,
and will not happen,
yes, God.
because God is God, you know.
Mm.
And I can't say to anybody to do what I've done.
Yeah.
All I can say is be sure that He's telling you what to do, because when the rubber hits the road and things get tough, I can hold on to Him and say, listen, we had this conversation and you said I should turn right, and I did.
Did,
So
yes.
what's going on here, you know?
Mhm.
But yeah, how do I balance? I can't tell you that I balancing.
Mhm.
I think that's a very funny word. Balance. Like when I think about balance, I think just two sides. You know, is it really balancing when you have multiple, like more than two? You know,
Well,
what
once
is
you're
that?
not dropping anything, and so far I don't think I've heard you dropped anything.
Well, what I would say is that there are some seasons when there are things that have fallen. I can't tell you that everything is always up. And I think that's one of the things that I have had to come to terms with, make peace with, and accept,
Yeah.
you know, and that in different seasons, I have to choose, you know, the priorities, you know. So when I just left my 9 to 5, the priority was Jonathan. It was the heights of COVID, and then it was also my health. It was the heights of COVID. Schools were closed. Like, what were you gonna do with your 2-year-old? It's like nowhere to put him. You know, my husband is essential worker. I was working with a company that I was technically essential, though I was working from home. And my mom had a health scare at that time. Her company was just her. And there was a lot happening. The strain of what was happening globally was coming into my home, you know. We had this business that we were building and had been building, and it still needed attention as well. And we had to make some decisions. It was a difficult decision. And there were other controversial elements to that decision as well, which I, you know, I don't want to get into, I don't want to,
Understandable.
you know, as to why I left when I left as well. And so in that season, I was homeschooling my son, and we were trying to stay alive in the pandemic in terms of the business. Yes, it's online, but you still have to talk to people. You still have to find a way to connect to people to your site and all of that. And I cannot say that I did great at it, you know, contrary to what people may think. What I will say is that we survived. We survived it. And we survived because of God's grace. We survived because of the hard work of my husband in terms of, you know, taking care of us and keeping things together. And I had the time now to assist my mother, to assist my son, to be present in the height of this global shutdown that was taking place. And so the entrepreneurial aspect of it was not primary in that leap, you know. It really, it was a part of it. And in some, maybe if I reflect, I would say it should have been more paramount for me. But at the time, to be very honest, it was just the needs of the family at the time that was the greatest pull for me. As we came out and now started to try and, you know, fudge around and say, okay, so now we need to pick up the pieces. We have to keep going. This pandemic don't look like it going done. We can't lie down and wait no more. We just have to figure this thing out. And so I started moving again. I think one of the things too is that I think the people around me have greater faith in me than I have in myself. And so I think one of the hardest lessons for me to learn, or one of the things that has been difficult, is to just believe that I have the capacity to do what I have to do, and not having corporate to hide behind, not having a boss to tell you what to do, not having any of that. You really can only look in the mirror. And that was scary for me. There was nobody to blame. There was nobody to, it was just, you really have
Just
to
you
figure
looking
it.
back at yourself.
Yeah. And there was also the fact that my husband put a lot of faith in my ability to run this business, and this was now my contribution to the family. Why?
You know, I wrote here, leaping and balancing. And because that seems to be, you know, if I was to characterize you and characterize, you know, all of what I've heard coming from you is, you know, the leaping and the balancing with the help of the Lord. And I really want to congratulate you. I want to tell you how proud I am of you, Gabby. I mean, I know some of the stuff, but you know, just talking to you and listening, like I felt, if you should see how I'm sitting now, I'm so comfortable. The only thing missing now is that I think I just need to, you know, to have been on the couch, you know, and just, you know, just really listening to you, because I'm so impressed, you know, with your movements, your progression, your growth. I'm listening to you too, and I'm like, I need to ask her, what's next? You know, what's next? You know, 2023 is here. What can we expect from you, Gabrielle? Because what can we expect from Ryga Legacy? You know, because there is, you've done well, believe me, since what, 2018, that's what 6 years, 5 years. You have accomplished much. You have been through a lot. And I must share too that I like the fact that you really brought the real to this matter of all the things we have to do. And that we don't always get it. You know, we don't always keep the balance going. Sometimes we miss something and it drop. And we quickly, you know, do that.
Pick it up back.
Yeah, you know, and keep it going and stuff. But you kept it real. What's next? Like seriously, girl, what's next?
More of the same. We're really just looking at stabilizing, growing, expanding, you know, going for the Caribbean. We really want to get to a place where this business becomes something that we can give to our son.
Yeah.
But more than that, we want it to get to a place where we have the time to invest in him and not just be investing in our business. I think that is the highlight of my entrepreneurship journey, the ability that and the time that I've had to spend with my son. I consider it to be one of my greatest blessings in life, and to see how he thinks and how he processes and how he handles things at 5. And for some people, like, oh, I've got him at 5. Yeah, but I think we underestimate. You know, I remember reading while I was a missionary that the moral compass of a child is developed by age 7. And then you have a short window of impact in their preteens to teenage years. And so people who accept Christ in that age 7 window, even if they stray, tend to return to the Lord. And that's something that has always sat with me in terms of, what do I want my son to see? What do I want him to believe? And I don't want to wait until he is 16 to say, hey, this is what life is. And so I'm grateful that he gets to see me do what I do on a daily basis, and seeing it come together, because I believe it's going to help to shape the man he's going to become, you know. So the big vision is family freedom, financial freedom. I mean, I know that that's something that's been thrown around everywhere, and everybody has their opinion on it. And some Christians don't want us to talk about it. Okay, but I believe that, the Lord tells us that our gifts will bring us before kings. He also tells us that by the sweat of our brow we will eat bread. And he tells us also that, he gives us new and witty inventions. And I don't think he gives us that for us to be, paupers. I always think about, whenever they were building the tabernacle or building something for the Lord, and how the people would give to the point that they have to tell them to stop. And remember, they're carrying gold.
Yes.
They're carrying precious metal.
Yes.
And so I think that where we are as a people, where I appreciate and I agree that there is room and need for faith, and I will never discount that. But having been a missionary for 5 years and continue to know other missionaries who are still on the mission field, we have a responsibility as believers to create wealth. Because if we don't, who is going to pay for kingdom expansion? We cannot keep going back to the secular world for donation and then being upset when they ask us for something in return. The only way to solve that problem is to create our own wealth. And I believe that wholeheartedly, and so I encourage every Christian entrepreneur out there that there is it is the love of money that is the root of all evil, not money. The same Bible says money answers all things. So clearly, it serves a purpose.
Yes, yes.
So that is the big vision. I mean, I think for us, we want to get to a place where giving to a mission is not something that will rob our son. Taking care of a whole family is not something that's gonna rob anybody. But it's just another thing. It becomes a part of why we are in this earth. And I think sometimes that is the very reason why we get such a big fight.
Exactly. Big vision. Here's my final question to you, Gabs. How can we support you? How can my audience support you? Where can we find you, and how can we support you?
Okay, so the first thing is you can definitely reach out and contact us at Ryga Legacy on Instagram. And that's the easiest way to make contact. There's also our website. On our Instagram page is actually our website to our products. You can send us a DM or you can go directly to the site. So definitely purchasing is one thing. If there's anybody that wants to learn about entrepreneurship and building a business online, they can also make contact. That's another way, because for us it's not just about growing for ourselves. We want to help other entrepreneurs get started. And so if that's something that somebody wants to learn about and they're saying, hey, I've been wanting to start online business, I just don't know what to do, that's another way you can help, because that's a part of our vision. Helping you is a part of our vision. So that's another way people can help. And if you work somewhere and you're having an event and you're going to need, branded items, or you're going to need gift packages, are you having a guest speaker and you want to be able to give them a basket, you can contact Ryga Legacy for all of those needs. And so the other thing, especially for the believing community, is to be in prayer, not just for us, but for Christian entrepreneurship. There is a place for it in this world. And I think we really need to move the conversation from who is buying jets and not, to what is the big kingdom purpose and what will it cost, because there's a parable that I like to talk about in the scripture, and I think we don't talk about it enough, is where, they're talking about the man building his house. And, you know, Jesus says that he never counted the cost. And because he never count the cost, when he's unable to finish, it becomes a disgrace to his family and to that community. How many unfinished properties do we drive past on a daily basis?
Wow.
And so we need to count the cost of what it is that we're trying to accomplish as the church. When we figure out that cost, then we need to encourage the business owners to grow so that the cost can be covered. You know? So
Girl, you just drop a bomb.
oh God. I hope nobody died.
Wow. I mean, Gabrielle, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, girl, this was so refreshing, so smooth, so authentic, so liberating. Just to listen to you, just to hear you, so motivating as well. Because you see, the thing is, we see persons and it looks like everything is going good. But so what will happen is that persons will tend to pass us by. And so, you know, persons see me here and they'll think, oh, Simone is quite good. But like I tell you, I kid you not, I felt like I was in a masterclass a while ago. I made so much notes a while ago regarding things that I can apply to me as a corporate banker, that I can apply as a mother, right? And that I can apply as a businesswoman. You just deposited so much in me, and I just want to thank you on behalf of, I guess, all the other persons all over the world that's going to be hearing this. Thank you so much. And one other thing I'm going to say to you now is that we're going to become your accountability partner. Okay. In that we're going to hold you responsible to accomplish those dreams, because we are here watching and we are seeing that if Gabrielle can do it, so can I. You know, the thing that says butterflies, if caterpillars can fly, so can I. Yeah. If Gabrielle can do it, so can I. So we're going to be your accountability partner. So every time you think that, you know, today I don't feel like getting up, I'm not going to turn the computer on today, separate from a rest day, you just need to remember that, hey, you know, I came on Uniquely Me and I said so much, and there are people all over the world expecting
everybody. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. No pressure.
So thank you so much. And girl, I declare a blessing over you, the start of the year. Listen, there's a big wide field out there. I'll say to you, lengthen your stakes, girl. You know, every time that story with Bless Me Indeed, that gentleman, he said, you know, change my name, or that you'll bless me, Jabez, or that thou would bless me indeed, enlarge my territory, you know, that your hand will be with me. I pray that in the same way, the hand of the Lord will be with you, that he will bless you indeed, that he will keep you from evil, and that the ground beneath you, he will just continue to widen and broaden the steps beneath your feet, and that you will continue to leap, continue to leap, and that he will give you hinds feet, that as you're leaping, there'll be no slippage. Bless the Lord. That. Thank you again, my darling, for being here. It was such a pleasure. Awesome. Awesome. Don't move. Thank you again, guys. You've heard it from a young woman herself. She's been there, done that, and doing it. She's not done with the t-shirt. Some of the t-shirt them she finished with, you know, but she continues to change them and put on new ones. She's making it happen. You know, in the midst of a pandemic, she took a leap and she is doing it. And she didn't just start there. You would have heard Gabrielle's story, going to university, leaving, deciding to become a missionary. That was not easy. But when you know, as she said, you got to be sure about those decisions. When you know for a fact, when you've heard the voice of God, then I can tell you, God will not disappoint you. And amidst the health crisis, amidst all of what could have happened, amidst juggling the various roles and responsibilities, and sometimes one or two slip, she's been able to quickly maneuver, pick them back up and keep going. And so, guys, I only ask one thing of you. Head over to Instagram, look for Ryga. It's Ryga Legacy. And check out their website. Or if you have a corporate function, they have it all there. And just in case you're wondering, you can touch base with me. I'll be only too happy to share their link with you. So guys, until next week, as a matter of fact, are you struggling? Are you thinking that, listen, you need family and financial freedom and wondering where to start? Well, I think you know exactly where to start. Ryga Legacy. Yeah, head on over there. They're only too happy to help you. So guys, listen, until next week, we will do it again with another unique story. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye. So there you have it, the journal line of Uniquely Me, or should I say GDP Publishing. As you know, guys, they're multifaceted. There's the God's Daily portion, Uniquely Me, and of course there's GDP Publishing. Let me know, of course, guys, have you gotten any of these journals? How have you been finding them? Are they helpful to you? Have you been able to schedule yourself, your day or your year? 2022 is upon us, and so you don't want to get caught without having your planner on hand. So that's it for me, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. Remember, Uniquely Me is uniquely you.